Hey, welcome back everyone. This is Uncle Frank and I am not a financial advisor, nor is any of the content to be construed as financial advice. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. Okay guys, let's kick this one off with the Wall Street breakfast from Seeking Alpha. It was a historic week for Wall Street, with the benchmark S&P 500 taking out and closing above the 5,700 point level for the first time ever. Meanwhile, the blue chip Dow surpassed and ended above the 42,000 point mark for the first time ever. The advance was driven by what was undoubtedly the most important event of the week, or for that matter, in recent memory. The Fed Reserve on Wednesday delivered its first interest rate cut since the COVID-19 pandemic 4 years ago, and it was a bumper 50 basis point cut at that. After taking some time to digest Wednesday's developments, market participants took heart from the central bank's willingness to be aggressive in terms of monetary policy and strengthened bets that the Fed would be able to deliver a soft landing. That led to U.S. stocks ripping gains on Thursday, and the S&P and Dow achieving the 5,700 and 42,000 milestones respectively. For the week, the S&P added 1.4%, while the Nasdaq swelled 1.5%, and the blue chip Dow climbed 1.6%. What's wrong, Seeking Alpha? You guys don't want to say anything about gold? From Reuters, gold breaks $2,600 barrier as Fed cut bets prolong historic run. Gold soared above the $2,600 level on Friday for the first time, extending a rally boosted by bets for further U.S. interest rate cuts and rising tensions in the Middle East. Gold is up 27% so far this year. Record prices hit retail demand in India and China, and silver is up over 1%. And from CoinGape, XRP price prediction as investors await Ripple's swell and SEC appeal. XRP price prediction reported a 3.4% surge during the Saturday session, teasing a bullish breakout from the 60 cents resistance. The sudden inflow could be linked to Vice President Kamala Harris accepting the invitation from CNN for a second debate with President Donald Trump on October 23rd. A potential breakout ahead of the Ripple swell could position XRP for a prolonged rally. The XRP price could gain momentum in October, with only 16 days left for the SEC to appeal the recent court ruling. Ripple's swell conference on October 15th and 16th in Miami could further drive XRP momentum, with key announcements expected. A bullish breakout from the long-coming triangle pattern will release the XRP coin from the accumulation trend. Don't worry, I'm putting all that shit on the calendar. By now, you guys have seen these headlines on GameStop, but I do want to point something out. From Yahoo, Jim Cramer says GameStop's core business doesn't matter anymore. And of course, GameStop CEO Cohen to pay $1 million fine over Wells Fargo stock buy. But I prefer this one, Bitcoin, worth $63,000, pulled in a $33 pack of trading cards at GameStop. Mind-boggling story goes viral, highlights crypto redemption card. With a change in its business practices, GME allows CEO Ryan Cohen the ability to buy and sell stocks and cryptocurrency with the company's cash. While GameStop hasn't added Bitcoin to its balance sheet yet, the company did help one customer turn a small purchase into a full Bitcoin worth over $60,000. A GameStop customer found one of the redemption cards previously, and upon scratching it off last month, realized he had one of the rarest cards good to redeem for one full Bitcoin. This turned his initial $33 purchase for the pack of cards into a Bitcoin worth more than $60,000. The customer shared his findings in a post on Reddit, with the action now going viral thanks to GameStop tweeting about the unique story. Quote, A GameStop customer found 1 Bitcoin in a trading card pack. GME tore that ass up on Friday, closing at $21.85, up $2.34, or 11.99%. There's the hourly chart on your screen showing the week's action. I'd like to bring your attention to the 8 green hourly candles in a row for Friday. Just beautiful. Max Pain was at 20 for the September 20th expiration, so suck it, hedgies and market makers. This is not investment advice. I'm not an investment advisor, but can you imagine what this thing can do if Ryan drops a significant release about the future of GameStop? Will other meme stocks like AMC chase it up, or has Gensler and or Wall Street gotten to Ryan Cohen and Roaring Kitty the way they did Adam Aron? Stay tuned. And at the time of this recording, GameStop is #1 on Reddit's sentiment and mention tracker, with 292 mentions over the past 24 hours, and that's down 44%, but you can see that one-day price change in the stock up 12.35%. My personal #1 pick for 2025, Archer Aviation, was manipulated all week, and I'll prove it on the coming screens. It's been range-bound between 3 and 325, but I am proud of the ACHR investors who wouldn't let it close under 3 on Friday. It closed at 306, up a penny, or 0.33%. Now listen carefully to me. The 52-week low of ACHR is 3 flat. The 52-week high is 749. We lost 7.55% this week. The 50-day moving average is at 405. The 200-day moving average is at 431. If this can hold 3, she's going higher in my opinion, not investment advice or advisor. If she drops under 3, I'm bringing the hammer and buying it. I will never tell you to buy, sell, or hold any security or crypto. I'm just letting you know my strategy on this stock. So how do I know the shorts are present and manipulating the stock? Let's first talk about short interest on ACHR. Mid-May of last year, the short position was 12.6 million shares. By mid-August of this year, it was up to 65.44 million shares. That's a 5x increase on a string of good news for the company that boggles the mind, including contracts with United Airlines, Southwest Air, the United States Air Force, and Future Flight Global. So, Uncle Frank, aren't you worried about the short sellers? What if this is another AMC? Well, exactly the opposite. I'm delighted the short sellers have shorted nearly 30% of the float because this is no AMC. With Archer, I have 24 insiders that own nearly 35% of the entire float. AMC's insiders haven't purchased a single share of AMC in 6 years, but instead blew out of $1 billion worth. This is apples and oranges. For the record, AMC insiders own less than 3%. I have institutional holders of Archer that own nearly 50% of the entire float at 48.51. If you want to short the stock of a startup company that has an order book of nearly $6 billion practically overnight, be my guest. Please short more. This time, the shorts aren't going up against just retail. There's Stellantis, the world's 4th largest automaker, which owns over 26% of ACHR, and then Cathie Wood, who owns over 8%, and that's more than BlackRock owns. So now imagine when politicians start buying this project because it's environmentally friendly and has already delivered its first unit to the United States Air Force. Yeah, keep shorting this one. I dare you. Not investment advice or advisor. I only bring up potential interest by politicians because just 3 days ago, ACHR hosted an open house in Washington and met with leaders from the FAA, the U.S. Department of Transportation, the National Business Aviation Association, the General Aviation Manufacturers Association, and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Now take a look at the chart of insider buying on the right from Quiver Quantitative. That huge bar on the right is from Q3 of this year. Remember, there is no Adam Aron or Ape coming to assist Wall Street on this one. This is the last stock on the New York I would short, in my opinion. Speaking of Adam Aron, he tweeted last week, Wednesday's interest rate cut by the Fed Reserve of 50 basis points would save AMC about $10 million of interest expense per annum, giving us an extra $10 million or so of cash savings each year. This is such very good and much welcome news for AMC. Ka-ching, ka-ching. Well, since this guy pays himself $500,000 a week, I guess that is great news for us. Any comment on shareholder value, Adam? Last week, we also learned that spurned bondholders sued AMC Entertainment over restructuring. AMC reached a sweeping deal in July to push out debt maturities, but lenders say deal took a knife to key rights and collateral. Well, I have a prediction for you, fat man. You're going to spend the rest of your life in a courtroom, so get comfortable there. Checking in with Yahoo's most shorted stock screener, let's set the parameters for price intraday greater than $1, average volume over the past 3 months greater than 200,000. The exchange is set for the New York. I see 1,641 results. Cinemark has dropped to the 25th spot. ACHR is now the 31st most shorted stock on the New York under this criteria. AMC comes in at 55. From the Daily Hodl, JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, and B of A lose $5 billion in push to offload rotten debt as credit card delinquencies surge. U.S. banks are increasingly offloading billions of dollars in bad debt that they've officially given up on collecting, according to new numbers from the FDIC. In its new quarterly banking profile report, the FDIC says U.S. banks reported $21.3 billion in net charge-offs in the second quarter of the year, due largely to credit card delinquencies and sour commercial real estate loans. That's the highest quarterly net charge-off rate since the second quarter of 2013 and 20 basis points higher than the same period last year, as customers continue to battle higher interest rates and inflation. Okay, let's populate the events calendar and prepare for the coming weeks. Monday, September 23rd, 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time, S&P Flash, U.S. Services and Manufacturing PMI. Thursday, September 26th, 8:30, initial jobless claims and GDP. But Friday, September 29th, 8:30 a.m., personal income and spending, then PCE, the Fed's favorite. And if this one comes in hot, that could certainly delay any subsequent rate cuts, so the whole world will be watching that one. If it comes in cool, the market could rally off that. September 30th marks the end of the third quarter, a vital date for AMC fans. While it hasn't been announced, I currently forecast AMC third Q24 earnings to be released around November 13th. Zax thinks we're going to lose 9 cents a share. I think we're going to post a profit. Not investment advice or advisor. Back on August 8th, Judge Torres announced the fine against Ripple. So the SEC has 60 days from there to appeal. So we can estimate that deadline to be around October 7th, or approximately 16 days from now. There is no Fed meeting scheduled for October, so we may have to wait until November for the second cut if we get another one. October 15th and 16th is Ripple's Swell Conference in Miami. October 22nd and 24th is the BRICS Summit. Please understand, we could get some earth-shattering and market-roiling headlines out of this conference. And right before the U.S. election, this could profoundly affect crypto, precious metals, and even the U.S. bond and stock markets, not to mention the dollar. I expect ACHR Aviation's next earnings release to land around November 7th. That's not confirmed yet. We are only 45 days to the November 5th election. Did you know the next Fed meeting is scheduled for November 6th and 7th, immediately following the election? What are they trying to tell us with that? GameStop's next earnings date is unconfirmed for Wednesday, December 4th, after market hours. By the way, December 17th and 18th will be the last FOMC meeting of the year. We are 121 days from inaugurating a new president, January 20th, which means if Trump is elected, Gary Gensler could be fired the following day. Stay tuned. Hey, I want to thank you for watching, and please remember to hit the like button after this slide if you enjoyed the presentation. Subscribe to the channel and set the alert so you're notified when I have new information to share. See you at the bell.